Okay, so the first thing we need to do is figure out the slope. Whenever I'm finding the slope of a perpendicular line, I should be looking at the opposite reciprocal of the slope. What is the slope on this equation?
-2.
So the opposite reciprocal would be what? 1 over 2. 1/2. Positive 1/2. So when we're dealing with parallel lines, it should be the same slope. When we're dealing with perpendicular lines, it's the opposite reciprocal. Okay? Alright, so from there, you're going to write out slope-intercept form. And you're going to plug in the values of that. Okay? So, I have my x and my y. Here, I have my m value, so I just need to plug that in. So y is what number?
3.
3. My slope is what number?
1/2.
My x value is what?
2.
So I'm going to write it as 2 over 1 because I'm multiplying by a fraction.
Plus b.
And then I would just put plus b because I do not know my y-intercept yet. Bless you. Okay, so I'm going to simplify the equation. 3 equals, what is 1 times 2, 2 times 1?
2.
2 over 2, right? Which is the same as what number? 1. Okay? So now I need to do what?
You know, you need to subtract 1.
Subtract the 1 from both sides.
Then you get b equals 2.
So my y-intercept is b. Okay, so now that I have my slope over here, I have my y-intercept. I need to put that into an equation. So how would I write that?
Y equals 1 over
plus 1 x plus 2.
Awesome, all right. Okay, so that's how you find a perpendicular line. Okay, so now we're going to graph that on the bottom. So like we did on Thursday, we're going to write out both equations. And we need to generate a table for both of them. So we should write out x and y. And we're not going to do a whole bunch. We're just going to do 2 for each one so that we're able to graph it. So the two numbers I'm going to use are -2 and +2. Okay, so the way I get my output, which is my y value, I need to plug in the -2. So if I'm plugging in -2 into this equation, that's how it should look. You're just replacing the x. So what is -2 times -2?
+4.
Okay, and what is 4 plus 2?
6.
Okay, same thing here. I'm going to plug this in where the x goes. What is -2 times 2?
-4.
-4 plus 2.
-2.
Okay, so go ahead and plot that into this graph. So we should be plotting -2 and then all the way up to 6. And then 2, -2. Alright, so that's how your first line should look. Alright, on the other side we're going to do the same thing. So we need to plug in the -2. So 1/2 times -2 plus 2. What would this right here equal, this parentheses?
-1.
-1 plus 2 equals what?
1.
Okay, so now you're going to plug in the other number, 1/2 times positive 2 plus 2.
It'd be 1.
1
3.
plus 2 equals 3. Now you will graph your points. Yes, okay. So negative 2, 1, and 2, 3. And it makes a right angle, perpendicular lines. Okay, all right, so this is perpendicular lines. When we get to that point, this will go on page 16. We're not going to glue it in just yet, just wait. Now we're going to move on to this foldable, which you already have. So, first thing you can do is fold it. Okay, so there are 2 examples for parallel and 2 examples for perpendicular. I am going to do one of each. You will do the second one, and then we will check your answers. So I'm going to start with this example right here, which is example 1. Same steps as all the other ones that we've been doing. So this one says, write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through 6, 2. I'm going to label that XY. Some of you are not labeling, and then you're wondering where I'm getting my numbers from. This is my X, this is my Y. It needs to be parallel to this slope right here. So what does that tell me the slope of this line is going to be?
2/3.
Negative 2/3.
Oh, yeah.
Now you should be writing out slope-intercept form. Okay, so what goes first here?
Negative 2/3. Or no, what?
2. Very good.
2 equals negative 2.
Negative 2/3. What is my X?
6
So I'm going to write 6 over 1 plus B.
plus
Okay, so if I am working out this fraction multiplication, I should be working it out like a fraction multiplication problem. Some of you can do it in your head, that's great. Some of you need to see it written out. You know what you're capable of. So what is negative 2 times 6?
Negative 12.
What is 3 times 1?
3.
My last step would be to divide negative 12 by 3, which would be what?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. Okay, so that is solving this part right here. So now I'm going to rewrite my equation as what?
2 equals negative 4.
Plus B. Good.
add
Very good. Now I need to add 4 to simplify my expression.
We get 6 if you need.
Very good. All right, so I got my slope. I have my y-intercept. How am I going to write this out?
Y equals negative 2 x plus 6.
All right, don't worry about graphing. Right now I'm focused on if you can write out and figure out what the equation is. All right? Okay, so you are going to do example 2, which is over here. Same thing. You're making a line that is parallel. Same steps. You're working on this right now. your x? 4. What's your x? This is your x and y. What's your x? -8. That goes in the parentheses. Over 1, this is a 1. And then plus b. B stays the same. So now, what we did here, that's what you're doing here. You need to multiply that out to figure out what that equals. Good, yes. Okay. Oh, you would write 6. 6 equals good. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. About the same.
And then that equals 6. So you'll write 6 here. And then plus b. Good.
Got it.
Yes. Awesome. Good.
Wait, did you say graph it as well?
No, you don't have to graph this one.
Right. Easy math.
3 times 8.
Bro, you're struggling. Oh my god.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh.
I do something wrong here.
24. 24.
Is it the same thing for 3 and 4?
That should be a 1 because it's a whole number. So 8 over 1. I'm sorry?
Is it the same thing for 3 and 4?
No, those are perpendicular.
Oh,
Yeah, they were reciprocal, bro.
Okay, so on this side, the slope is the same, which is what number? Negative 3 over 4. All right, so we start with slope-intercept form. Y is 6, M is negative 3/4, X is 8 over 1 because it's a whole number, plus B.
Wait, wouldn't it be negative 8 over 1?
Yes, sorry, negative. So we have negative 8 over 1, which is 24 over 4,
Which equals 6.
which equals 6. So 6 equals 6 plus B. I subtract from both sides, and most of y'all got this correct. It's just going to be 0. So if I'm writing this, I'm just going to write y equals what?
Negative 3 over 4x.
Negative 3 over 4x.
If you put plus 0, that's also correct, but you don't have to put plus 0. You can just leave it like that. Okay? All right, so on the bottom, we are looking at perpendicular lines. So same thing, I'm going to do the first example, you will finish up the last one. Okay, so if I'm writing an equation for a line that's perpendicular, what is my slope going to be here? No.
Oh, wait, no.
1 over 3, very good, yes. And it would be positive because you do the opposite reciprocal. Okay, so I'm going to write y equals mx plus b. This is my x, this is my y. Okay? So what am I going to plug in down here?
Oh, y.
Which is what? 0 equals what?
0 equals 1 over 3. 6. over
Times
1.
6 over 1 plus b. Right? Okay, so again, you would multiply your fractions. 1 times 6 is
6
over 3, which equals what?
2.
2. So 0 equals 2 plus b. Okay? Now what do I do? Yes, we're going to subtract, which means b equals negative 2. Okay. How do I write this out?
Y equals 1 over 3x plus 3. Or minus 2.
Minus 2. Very good.
This is easy.
Awesome. Okay. Last problem, number 4. You are doing on your own, by yourself, same steps. That should be negative 10. Right? So that's going to be your answer. Because you're going to negative 2. So you do that's a negative 10.
Did you
So
multiply?
it's not your answer.
Multiply 5 times 9.
No.
So you're
You're
subtracting
step- You need to flip this.
Flip that. Oh, okay.
Okay, now yours, negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2, right? So that's why your answer is going to change. Okay. You need to set it up like I do. Your slope, you need to write your slope first, 10 equals. It's not going to be negative, you're going to be doing the opposite. Yes, okay. So that needs to be already separated. What's your y? 10 equals. In front of it. My slope, 1/5 times x, which is negative. You don't flip that. Did they tell you?
My reflexes are so fast.
Okay. Okay, there is that.
Huh? Yeah, you
B.
Watch out.
So
Huh?
now you need to multiply that next.
I should myself. Breast panda? Kung Fu panda? Master Chief. Master Chief. Shout out.
So bring this over here. Let me do that. One plus, right?
Didn't even see. Just think about Master Chief.
And then you're going to look up here and see how to put that into an equation.
I don't know if we're losing. We'll wait till it says we're gonna lose.
Very close to last time. Okay, so I have my slope is going to be the negative reciprocal of this. What is it?
1/5.
So again, we should be setting it up like this, okay? So we can know where we're putting everything. What is your y?
2.
2, my slope,
1/5.
my x value.
10, negative 10 over 1. Plus b.
Okay, so 1/5 times negative 10 over 1 equals negative 10 over 5, which equals what?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So 2 equals negative 2 plus b.
You add 2.
Add 2 to both sides.
Get 4. 4 equals b.
4 equals b. So how do I write this as an equation?
Y equals 1/5.
1 over 5x plus 4. Okay. All right, so go ahead and glue this down, both of these papers.
Yeah, I got you.